I think we can officially consider this an episode 2. I think we're going to be official
good for saying this is 2.
Yeah, episode 2. Yeah,
this is 2.
Starting to lose track a little bit, huh?
Well, we've got 20 episodes, and for sure we've got, I don't know what, 14, 15 of them solidified. The first 13 are lined out, so.
Right. I got you.
Have episode recording dates and everything.
Right. Yeah, recording a lot of multiple episodes a week so we can kind of get ahead of some stuff.
Sure,
vacation time and stuff like that. So.
Right. Well, there is certain times of the year I'm pretty sure it's hard to find time to do podcasts. So.
Yeah. I think 1 week we have 3.
I think so. It could be like 3 in 1 week.
We're gonna do one we're gonna record one on a Saturday, and our guest is gonna be Sunday. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a lot of fun to.
A little international chatter.
Yeah, a little international chatter.
I got you.
So,
Nice.
So how you been, Tim?
Doing all right, other than waiting for the freeze to break, although I feel like guilty saying that to a couple guys that probably are sitting and looking at 7 degrees at the highs right now. But
I don't know. Let me see. What is the temperature?
When it's 22 here, that's freaking cold.
We're 20 degrees here.
No, okay.
It was a bomb at close to 30, I think, for us. We actually had a little bit of melting going on today.
Really?
Oh, wow.
This is the warmest it's been in 4 days. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So,
considering yesterday morning it was -9, we got to 30 today.
6,
so
right.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, man, heat wave.
Yeah, we're 40 degrees warmer.
Well, yeah, it's funny because we stay. This time of year we're usually in the 30s, 40s. That's about as really as cold as it gets. And of course we had like 8 or 10 inches of snow, a week or so ago, and it stayed cold. Well, we're not used to that. We're used to 8 inches of snow. You play in it, and 2 days later it's gone, and you go back around your business. I've got friggin' ice everywhere, and like everybody's like, "Whoa, why don't you knock it up or scrape it?" And I'm like, "Dude, it's 122 acres of ice. Like it's everywhere. You know what I mean? Like the whole plant is just covered with ice because the snow melted enough." To now it's just a 2-inch thick block of ice everywhere. So we're not breaking that up. So.
Looks like they're calling 2 inches of snow tonight, another inch tomorrow. So
yeah, y'all can have that crap.
Thank God.
I'm ready. I'm ready for springtime.
I'm going to Florida on Saturday. That being said, did you see that?
They had like 10 inches of
10
snow.
inches of snow.
Oh, I know. Well, so, I was going to say I was just.
Pensacola Beach had like 6 inches on the beach, just like that. Yeah.
I was just talking to Charles McKinley earlier today because we're going down to Alabama in February to shoot a wedding show for one of my clients up here, and so I'm doing most of it through him. You know what I mean? I mean, it doesn't make sense for me to load up a wedding show 15 hours on the road, and
for sure.
So we'll just fly down. He's going to take care of it, and he's like, "Yeah, we got like 8 inches of snow," and I'm like, "Holy crap, that's like on the Gulf, dude! Like that's way south."
I seen video today. The beaches had like 3 inches of snow.
Yeah, it's
nuts,
like
this is the wrong white beach.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Should be white sand.
Thank God for global warming, or we'd have glaciers sliding through down there or something. Sorry, I shouldn't have went there with that. I guess.
I was going to say they did say hell would freeze over when Trump got back in office. And Maryland was an Arctic tundra.
It was trying. Oh man,
or Washington rather, I guess.
Yeah. But
all right,
no, things are good, man. We're just plugging along, trying to get ready for the season and line stuff up, and get things ready for Pyro Jam, and
we'll get into that. And
it'll be here before we know it.
Other events you might be getting to, but let's get to these. Get to this intro.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Pyro Unleashed. Tune in weekly as Donnie and David discuss all things pyro, from the business aspect of the industry to technical tips and mesmerizing pyro designs. On Pyro Unleashed, we invite cutting-edge experts to the podcast to discuss their role in making this industry a success. So, sit back and unleash your inner pyro with us.
Primary sponsor of the season is Cobra Firing Systems.
It is.
They've obviously huge supporters of us and the community and all the products and stuff they put out there. And obviously here in April we got coming up the CobraCon.
Yep. Rumor has it, just seen the schedule, Tim. You doing a show on Friday night at CobraCon?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna come out and play around a little bit.
Yeah, I know we chatted a little bit about some sharing some equipment. If everything goes to plan, we should have. It might actually be a little. Well, we'll leave that out, but it might be a little taller than anticipated. So, working all them details out, but yeah, we're looking forward to it. So
Yeah, no,
got the
it should be fun.
what's like CobraCon-con.com, and then Cobra Firing Systems to get more information on that. Come out there and join us out there and have a good time.
yeah, and again, rumor has it the 18R3 will be live in person, and you'll be able to touch it, feel it, hold it, use it.
Hopefully.
Hopefully not abuse it, but use it.
Hopefully not abuse it.
Excited for that. And then again, Finale 3D sponsorship. Huge shout out to Drew and Finale Inventory, Finale
Yeah.
Fireworks, Finale 3D. It's kind of a huge conglomerate over there.
Yeah.
But right now we're, I guess, talking about Finale 3D. They're the world's most powerful fireworks and special effects software. Finale 3D is built for the real world, whether you're working with pyrotechnics, DMX, or special effects. You get automatic scripting, sequencing, addressing, and sequencing, addressing features, and when you get ready to start with showtime in no time. That was a little botched up, but you get the drift.
Yeah, the software works much smoother than that.
Much smoother, especially when you know what you're doing.
There's a curve, though. There is a
curve.
You know.
Yeah.
Speaking of Donnie, I was tweaking around in Finale 3D, and I was showing Brian something yesterday, and the way that I was showing you without all the extra added lines you were putting in there, it popped it right up the way it was supposed to be.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll have to. I don't know. We'll see how. I don't know. That's a later conversation, but yeah. So, yeah.
All right. Well, we got Tim Jameson
Mr. Tim
from
Jameson,
IPC,
yeah.
PyroJam.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
No,
Tim.
man. Always good chatting with you guys.
Yeah,
Y'all
yeah.
fun.
So
I like just talking pyro. So
heck
you know.
yeah. Besides CobraCon and Pyro Jam, you have any other events you're going to be planning on going to this year?
Nothing. Yeah, I mean, we'll probably pop in. You know, a few of us will pop in down at Sky Wars, just to, you know, since we popped in last year to just hang out. We'll actually pop in and watch some shows this year.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
You know, other than that, I mean, we've got some, you know, our typical stuff that we're doing, and you know, probably add a few more. Our Christmas stuff is kind of getting a little crazy.
Really?
Yeah. So we've always done one that we donated for a cause.
Yeah.
We've been doing that since like 2017 or so, and it seems like people end up seeing it, and then they want to do something similar at their church or their organization or their whatever. And I think we did 5 or 6 this past December.
Wow.
And you know, well, the downside is it gets kind of cold sometimes.
Oh,
We
for
did
sure.
one up on a mountain in West Virginia, December 21st.
Oof.
It was pretty brutal, but
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of cool. One of the minor league baseball teams that we work with, they ended up doing a Christmas, you know, themed, you know, night at the ballpark thing, and
Yeah.
it's kind of weird. I never thought Christmas shows. I mean, Christmas tree lightings is one thing, but I never thought we'd do a lot of Christmas shows. You know.
Yeah.
So
I will say, like, I love doing musicals, but I do not envy anybody doing musicals the week of the 4th. Let's keep those off season.
yeah, I mean, we do some,
ya?
but they're, you know, yeah, we do. There's 4 of them that are, you know, single shots right on through, full blown. We do a lot of pseudo musicals, you know, where we're pacing shells, changing effects, things like that.
Yeah.
And they're not too bad. It's worked out for us pretty good. I think it's part of the reason we've grown, and what we've grown is because, you know, like since we're e-firing anyway, and you know, we're matching every shell anyway. other than, reading a label, it really doesn't take that much longer for us.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially with all the equipment stuff that we've invested in. And, so it takes us about an extra 2 hours to load out a shell Pyromusical versus just a traditional, bucket toss. I mean, you still got to grab the shell. You still got to put it in tubes. Still got to tie it off.
Yeah.
You just now have to look at a label. That's all.
Yeah.
And it takes us a little more time to prep it. But, it's not, we don't, I won't get into pricing, but I've never been one to think, okay, it's going to take us 2 hours longer, so we need to double the budget.
Yeah, for sure.
I like putting on the best show we can, and we just can't give. I think it's better than the guys who'll come out there and bring 6,000 shells for a finale, and give that away. I'd rather give away 2 hours worth of labor.
Yeah, for sure.
So
costs less.
But definitely, definitely, man. I look at somebody. I'm not gonna lie, man. I look at some of these bids and I'm like, man, are they really getting this many shells? Holy crap!
Yeah.
No,
well, that's another conversation, but. Are they
and I'm
bidding
not saying
it
they're not,
per effect or per break or per show, So
well, that's the thing we battle with in this industry all the time. It's you get so many proposals that's okay. We want a 25-minute fireworks show. How much is that going to cost? Well, okay.
What's your budget?
How big of shells are we shooting? How And they're like, oh well, we can't tell you the budget. We're going to go with best price. I'm like, okay, $3,000. They're like, really? And I'm like, yep, I'm going to drop, 18 2-minute cakes out there. Yep. And we're going to shoot nothing bigger than 1.5 inches for you. Oh, no. Well, of course no, I'm not really going to do that. But, that's what you're saying. You're going to go with the cheapest guy that's going to give you 25 minutes. I can give you 25 minutes pretty freaking cheap.
Yep.
It's going to suck, so, yeah, the city shows, they're the toughest to bid.
Most definitely are.
And if they're just going on the most shells per dollar, we're not going to get it. I try to narrow it down enough to where I know if that's what they're looking for, because that's what they're looking for. There's no sense me wasting time and 37 pages of paper printed off and
for sure.
So,
yep, I agree.
But
well, I guess let's get into PyroJam. I guess let's start with 24 and how that went. I know we've had a couple of the. I don't know if you've listened to. We've had two of the gentlemen on, and really had a great time recording them. And
I watched it, and it was cool because everything they talked about with you was exactly what they had told me the whole time. So I know it's not BS. You know what I mean? It's it was legit. They're legit. This is who they are, and they were a lot of fun. Nick and Patrick both are awesome. We had a really good time. We actually had the fellow who won the first year. Lord, I can't remember his name now.
I can't.
Anyway, from the UK. Yeah. He stopped by this year. He flew out. Yeah, he was here. He came out on Friday and toured the field, and we chatted, and he's an awesome dude too. Just the people that are getting into this and conversations, it's really cool. And you start to see how the differences around the world, and not good, bad, or indifferent, just different,
Yeah. Well, I think I've even mentioned it a couple times. It's like, not that, picking the guys here in the States is bad, but it is cool to be able to see, what other countries' design techniques are and how they're doing different runs and single shots and their color schemes and shells and goes on and on and on and really.
Well, even how they approach a theme, what I mean? Like, you can give, what we would think of if we hear this theme here might mean something completely different there, and how they approach that theme. But no, it's really cool. We're stoked. Yeah, we got it launched. We actually got our first 2 entries.
Really?
Yesterday, I believe, and I was like, holy crap, man. The guys must have been, and of course I don't see any of them until, it's all put in, we've got a guy that he sorts everything and gives the show a number and all that. So I don't see any of that. So I have no idea who they came from or whether they're any good or anything or, you know, what it was. But I was like, man, they smoked that thing out. So.
There was a couple on that were jumping ahead on it pretty early.
Yeah, well, you know, it's funny. We actually got, well, I won't say we. I got a couple, you know, people reach out once we announced. And they're like, dude, you screwed me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, I'd already kind of designed my show. So what do you mean? And he's like, well, I've been working on it and this and that. And now all of a sudden, you know, we can use towers or wheels or fireballs and half the product's changed. And I'm like, well, what did you think was going to happen? It's our live inventory.
It is live, I mean, and it really, you know, it helps to mix it up.
I ran out of the red, blue, and pink dahlias. They're gone. I mean, you know, the other ones haven't come in yet, you know, or whatever. And, you know, I mean, they weren't mad, but it was like, you know, lesson learned, fellas. Don't start early.
Rough draft it.
Because things, if you want to get some ideas, put soundtrack together, things like that. But, you know, wait till you actually see what we have in stock and see what the rules are going to be this year. You know.
Now, all that product that's in the inventory, do you lock that away to the side so that it can't be used on other shows? Or is there a chance the inventory can change throughout the process of this?
Not throughout the competition. So... which kind of sucks in a way for me because I can't design any of our biggest shows until, you know, like April because, you know, I mean, there's a couple that I'll try to get, like we have early spring, you know, we have some Pyromusicals and, you know, sucks for them, but I usually look and I'm like, okay, I have 800 of these, so nobody's going to use 800 of them in Pyro Jam. You know, they might use 200, but then I got to use 800. And I kind of script based on what I have the most of, and that's kind of what, you know, Apple Blossom's getting this year. You know what I mean? So it's it does kind of crimp us a little bit, which is why we try to, you know, close it March 1st. And, you know, we have sponsors. You know, RKM came on this year, as David knows, and is helping us out, giving us some variety, and Spirit of 76 does the same thing, and you know, they're kind of holding those items, you know, and you know, so we got to get this wrapped up. They got to make a living, and you know, so but I'm not going to say we've never had to substitute something. Typically what happens on a sub, like we had one device last year that when the new batch came in, we hadn't shot it yet. It was in the catalog, and then when we shot it, we realized that it was not the device that it was labeled as. Ooh. And it's like, ooh, and it's not even close. So we had to find something comparable and sub it in for them. Well, I had one in my show that I actually didn't find out to the day of because the new batch, you know, didn't come in until 2 weeks before Pyro Jam. And I actually got it from another supplier. Same manufacturer made it, but you know, I didn't import it myself. And instead of being, you know, blue mines with gold strobe mixed in, it was a gold strobe with a blue comet, and that was the comets that y'all saw bouncing all over the ground off the wheel.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And everybody's like, "Oh, that was awesome, man! How
it
you
was
bouncing
awesome.
them around?" I'm like,
dude,
that was not awesome. That was friggin' screwed up. Like, the first run across the field, and I'm firing stuff in the woods, and I'm going, "Oh my God, this is it! Pyro Jam's over. We're gonna burn down this park. We're gonna burn down the Indian village. There's no way they're letting us back." But yeah, that was a pucker moment.
Yeah. Well, I guess that kind of leads to my next question. Like, I know when we were out in the field, you're like, I'm not doing this again. I mean, is that kind of just like an every year thing? Or is that like, you know, what's kind of inspired you to take the reins back and go again in 25?
Well, so it is funny because the first year it was probably, well, we did it in May and it was probably October before I decided to do it again. So, you know, May and June, July, 4 months, 5 months of, you know, we're going to do it. The second year, you know, it took me a few months, and then the third year it took us about a month and a half. And right as soon as we started cleanup this year, I said we're coming back in 2025.
That's awesome.
Like, it was that night. You know, there was no doubt. It's, you know, and part of it was meeting Nick.
Yeah.
You know, from the UK, and Patrick and their stories, and you know, just watching the crowd and the bands, and you know, it's just too cool. I mean, there's just nothing like it, and I'm not gonna say there's nothing somewhat like it, but as far as all around, I think it's a great opportunity for the industry and for the designers, you know, to enter something. Yeah, it's just too cool, and we're getting close to like not losing money. So
that's good.
We're getting close, so that makes it a little easier.
Yeah,
because like I told everybody from the get go, I don't need to make money off this, but I'd like to stop losing money
for sure.
You know, at some point, and it sustain itself. That would be really cool.
Yeah,
which we're really close. We're really close.
Good.
So
yeah, that was the nice thing. We was talking to Nick, you know, is him coming in, never really scripting a show before,
that
and getting
blew
an
my mind.
the opportunity to really kind of come out there and be something new for him, and to script a show, got good enough to got selected and got to come over and watch it get shot. And there is no other experience like that anywhere where you can have no experience scripting, toss a show together, submit it, and it gets displayed for everybody to see. Like that's just opportunity is just not out there for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of why we started it. You know, because let's face it, every one of us got some kind of little opportunity that somebody else didn't. You know what I mean? And that's how we got going. Whether it was, you know, Team Dominator for me, you know, that's what got me going. You know, a lot of other guys, you know, and I met a guy named John Kemps from Celebration Fireworks who just without ever meeting me, loaned me a Fire One panel for a club show to do a Pyromusical, and you know, just trying to give that opportunity to other guys, you know, that we got, you know. So that part's really cool, and it's just become fun. Like we actually had some people, you know, we had the guys from St. Louis come up. And they came out to the festival, and
they did.
It was just like walk around like normal people, you know what I mean, and give me some feedback, and you know, the vibe was really good. You know, our crowd is so cool. Like, it's a big, you know, wide range of type of people, but like no fights, you know. No, you know, a couple of guys got drunk, you know what I mean, and fell over, but you know, nothing bad, you know what I mean. And we've done this, you know, 3 years now without any kind of incidents. Knock on wood.
Well, I will say, fun. Like even the setup, like from the time you pull in to the time, you know, you go through the gates, where the food trucks and vending and stuff, all that is. To like the picnic area, and then you have to go around the wood line to go and see the fireworks setup. And I think just the way you get to the field, like it's
cool.
weird. Like it's cool. You're like, oh, this is just a festival, and then you turn the corner and it's like towers and pyro, and it's like it's mind blowing for a pyro. Like anybody that's been there. It's a really cool setup. The venue is superb.
Yeah, I love the venue. I just wish we, you know. They need to like cut some trees down and give me some more parking and a few more places where we can put people. But
for sure,
because I think we're gonna cap it out this year. And,
that's good.
I think so. Yeah, I mean it's good. The problem is the cap. Well, the cap out number is like starting to make a little money number. You know what I mean? Maybe people don't realize. I mean, we figured it up when we were somewhere around $365,000 to produce this thing.
Wow,
that's real money, you know.
Yeah.
So, do the math at $45 or $50 a head. How many people got to come in to pay $365,000?
Yeah.
You know, and when you can only fit about 7,000 people in a venue, it makes it tough.
Yeah, most definitely.
But the venue is really cool. The way it's laid out, the way it works. It's a beautiful park. It definitely works. So, and like you said, when you get past that wood line and you look out and it's like, wow, holy smokes, this is legit.
Yeah.
So it gives you that wow factor. You know, it's not like you're seeing it coming. You know what I mean? Like you said, you walk into it and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, but anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm interested to see what the submissions are this year with the the additions to the to the rules, and they've got some options there to try to make the shows a little different from each other and see which route they choose, because they can use either a wheel in the center, and they get up to 200 devices on it, or they can use two towers with 100 devices each, or they can use gas mines. And although I'm sure I know for a fact, because my operations manager who's doing all the, he's got to check the shows and make sure that they didn't use product that wasn't in the catalog, make sure they didn't go over budget and all this before he, names it and puts it in the folder. And he goes, oh yeah, he says 2 submissions and one of them already put stuff on the tower and the wheel. Yeah, well, we knew that was going to, we try to explain it and lay it out best we can, but we knew at some point somebody was going to.
Yeah.
Now, in those instances, is that submission just disqualified, or do you guys reach out to them and let them know that, hey, this doesn't qualify because you did this and this?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know yet. I just found out today, and I'm trying. It won't be a straight DQ. I'm not. It's just like if somebody goes over by 6 seconds, we're not going to DQ you. We have to hold it against you. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Because you went outside the rules. But I never want to do a straight DQ. I mean, because if a show's going to score a 97, not that I expect any 97s out of 100, but if this guy scores a 97 and the next highest guy is an 88, but he used 16 shots on the tower. All right, if I delete those 16 shots on the tower, does his score go down to an 85?
Yeah,
probably not.
Okay.
But to be honest, but I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know. I'm going to assume we're going to handle it just like we would any other. We've had guys angle shells too much. We didn't disqualify them, but we did have to hold it against them, and we had to, if they were to make it into the top 10. Luckily, we haven't had any egregious, rules violations for somebody that did finish in the top 3, 4, 5. That would knock them out. It's usually been, somewhere, 15 to 20, 30, ranking, something like that.
Yeah.
So we haven't had it where it actually affected the top 3. So, because most of the time, my guess is if you're a top 3 show, you didn't do those things because you're
paying attention.
You have to. Yeah, your attention to detail has to be pretty good to finish in the top 3 in this. So I don't think you would miss, miss a time limit or something like that.
Yeah, for
if
sure.
You're going to be in the top 3. So, and I hate
that. We're kind of talking about it. It's just kind of talking about what are some of those rules that are part of this process.
Well, okay, so I probably will miss one or two, but. The main rules is you've got a $25,000 budget. You can't go over budget. You have to use every device in your show has to come from that catalog. You can't use something that's not in the catalog. Your show needs to be from 9 to 10 minutes, and we've actually defined what that time limit is, and it's from the very first cue to the very last cue. It's not the shell lifting in the air or the star burning to the last star in the shell or when the music starts. It's cue to cue, needs to be between 9 and 10 minutes. Okay. So if you want to do a little intro. Now, I don't, so, I have had people ask in the past, well, what if I light a flame pot during my 30-second intro and then my last cue is at 9 minutes? Does that count? Yeah, it counts, but your show sucks. You know what I mean? Like, if you used 30 seconds of your show time with a handful of flame pots burning while you talk, that hurts your points. It's going to hurt your, the biggest, the biggest the biggest points is 30 points are awarded for overall, entertainment value.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You burned a flame pot for 30 seconds while you talked about your show or yourself or whatever. That's not entertainment value. You're going to get hit pretty hard in that 30 points. So,
for sure.
So yeah, it's legal, but you ain't gonna win.
Yeah.
I can promise you that. Nobody's gonna win if they do that.
Yep.
So
David, you better go back and redo your show, I guess.
Yeah.
You
I
had-
did.
you
I
had
asked Tim. I said, "Hey, I know."
You had 5 minutes of flame pots in your show. That ain't gonna work.
I just have the other 5 minutes are just e-matches popping on the ground. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, they need a simulation for that.
They do. Somebody knows how to, do musicals with just e-matches popping.
So, well, you play within the rules,
Exactly.
So, there was that very first Pro-Am. There was a lot of limit. People don't remember that very first year how many limitations there were.
Oh yeah.
So we had to get creative. Nowadays, I'm not saying they got it easy. Don't get me wrong. It's never easy to compete on anything. But I'm like, man, holy crap! I wish we'd had all that crap when we did.
Right. Could you imagine what the budget today would have gone from?
Oh
The
yeah.
amount of product you could have done.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember how much we spent the very first year. It was minimal though. I mean, we were allowed like 3,500 gram cakes, 2,200 gram cakes, like 300 single shots.
Wow.
And 18 other devices. So that means you only got 18 flame pots, gerbs, strobes. I mean, that's nothing. That doesn't last no time. So
Yeah.
that's why we backlit a wizard with 3 flame pots and ran 400 e-matches across the field back and forth to try to get some other devices above that 18. Hey, I sent an email and I had all the competitors want it when I asked the question. And the simple question was, does every e-match have to be in a device? And they were like, what are you talking about? We'll give you 400 matches. I'm like, well, that's not the question. The question was, does the match have to be in the... Well, and I felt bad because one of the competitors that first year, off of that question, the first response from the judges was, we're giving you 400 matches. He took it as he could only use 400 matches in his show. And the rest of us, we had 2,000 cues, matches, 25 matches hanging out of every cake. And he had his show was 400 cues. And it was a badass show. I mean, it was great. Might have been the best finale of the night.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a good show. But anyway, back to the rules. I done lost track where the hell we are now. There are some angle restrictions. We try not to be too, we don't want to crimp creativity. But on the shells, we have certain devices that, they're listed as soft braking. They can angle those a little more, horsetails, fallen leaves, where you want to get a little bit of an angle so you can get that drop, on the brake. And they're not going to throw stars, everywhere when they break, 100 feet off the ground. Single shots, there's no limitations as far as angles go, but we did add in this year, please don't shoot them into the trees.
Yeah.
Like there's a model there, and you can clearly see if those comets are going through the tree. I know finale kind of just makes them disappear and then come back a little bit, but yeah, if they disappear for a minute, they're in the woods.
Yeah.
So let's not do that.
Yeah.
And then this year we did add we added positions for fuel mines. They're allowed to shoot up to 50 gallons of fuel, whether it's 1 gallon, 2 gallon, or 5 gallon hits. We have 2 towers that are, I think they're 70 feet tall each. Positions every 10 feet. They can use those 2, or they can use a wheel that's at 80 feet. That's fires, 360 degrees. They can pick one. Just to, add a little something to them. We want to keep it fresh and keep it fun. And the one downside, we've already had a couple questions on the forum. Can we delete some of these positions because there's way too many? Like I can't find them half the time. It's taking me too long to script. So there, and of course we don't want them deleting them because we have to bring all these together into a master file. So it's I don't want to tell them how they can do that to work because they might mess up. But there are ways to clone a template and
there is
delete the ones you want, and then highlight your script and copy it back into the official one. But I didn't say that live. For anybody that's listening and wants to make your life easier, as long as the one that comes back to me is the right one, I don't care how you get there.
Yep.
So that's cool. And that's the main rules. I mean, we try to, you can use any kind of music you want. You can pick any kind of theme. I mean, keep in mind, this is a family event. So not too much hardcore gangster rap, about shooting cops and taking your hose home and things like that. Try to avoid that. And political messages, it might, we all have our own
for comfort, huh?
Well, we all have our own political beliefs. We got to remember this is a major metropolitan area, so there's a whole lot of diversity here. So, you know what I mean.
Have you had issues with soundtracks in the past? People submitting soundtracks that maybe weren't quite.
Oh yeah. No, yes, definitely. And again, luckily, they weren't one of the top three. So. But we've definitely had some. Well, but overall, it's really cool. There's some really, really, really good shows. I would say if we get 120 submissions, there's probably 50 of them in there that as you're going through it and judging and scoring, it's not going to be in the top three.
Yeah.
But they're still pretty. Out of all of them, I would say, out of the 100, I think it was 118 submissions last year. Maybe that was the year before. I don't know. It always fluctuates between 102 and 130. I haven't seen too many that would not be a great municipality show.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like, seriously, it's, we haven't had anybody, send in something that was just so bad. Well, actually, one guy did, but he was being a jerk. So, I'm still not happy. I don't know who it was because I don't see names of them. I only see the names of the top ones.
Yeah.
Mostly because I don't want to really know.
Yeah.
But there was somebody that submitted one last year, and they, even in their description, flat out said, I'm going to waste your 10 minutes of your life watching this.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that, but
whatever. Wow.
We watched it. We scored it. Guess what? He was last.
Yeah.
Worst score we ever had. But no, we that's our job. We've got to watch it. We've got to score it, and we did. But yeah, he definitely, whatever is what it is.
That's sad. Well,
but most of them are really There's very few shows that don't have at least a moment in it where it's like, oh, that was really cool.
It's ironic that you say that because the ones that put their videos on YouTube, I'm not gonna lie, I try and watch every one of them, and
right.
and
I try not to until it's over.
But. Right, yeah, and I don't want to dog anybody, but your show might not have been good, but I'm gonna tell you, I've taken probably a segment out of every one of them I've watched and said, that's really cool. I haven't seen that before.
At least got you thinking. Yeah, at least got you thinking about something.
I don't know how you guys do it, but I actually have a Finale 3D file, and it's literally labeled test. And
right. Yep.
I'll take them and I'll test them. I'll see if I can recreate it.
Right.
And, if I'm watching something and I'm doing a show and I'm like, oh, that has 5 beats. Let me go through and see what I have that's 5 cues or something like that, right?
Right.
I'll put it in there and just see how it looks. And
right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
It's
funny.
Trick that I've done.
I actually had a guy, we were chatting one time, and I don't even remember who it was. I just remember the conversation. And he says, man, I got to be honest with you. I steal a lot of the stuff that you do.
Yeah.
And I've got to be honest with you, too. I steal a lot of shit from around the world. Like,
yep.
We all, steal stuff. And steal's the wrong word. I mean, watching other people's shows is how you develop your shows and your style. And you see things. And you might not do the exact same thing that he did, but it got you thinking about something, and you did it this way. And we all do that. I mean,
all of us.
I don't know that there's anybody out there that can constantly come up with new creative ideas every month on their own. I mean, it's just, so yeah, it's cool that he gave me the compliment, but I had to let him know, I probably stole it from somebody else. So
yeah, you're not the only one,
or at least stole the idea, you know. So,
well, let's get into how can somebody enter into Pyro Jam.
So you better be quick, because you're almost halfway through now.
I know. By the time this airs, it'll be the beginning of. They'll have a month left, so I kind of feel bad, but it's.
But no, go to the easiest way is go to www.finale3d.com, and it's right at the top of the page how to enter. Click on that, and it'll tell you all the rules. You get your templates there. Download it and send Drew the email, and he will get you opened up with a license if you don't already have one, or upgrade your license if you do have one. And I know. The first week, Drew had given out more licenses than ever.
Wow.
For any of the other competitions. And you got to remember, that doesn't include anybody that already has Pro.
Correct.
Yeah. So, I mean, those guys don't need, a license or nothing. They don't even email Drew, what I mean? They just download their template and start designing. So, so we definitely have more people than ever before entering again, or at least,
really good.
At least trying it. I mean, some of them, I'm sure there's guys, that they start down the path and realize I can't learn this fast enough because I don't have time or, whatever. But, that we're anticipating more entries than ever.
That's good.
Which is cool. So pretty stoked.
And who's eligible to enter? Just anybody, obviously, right?
Anybody, man. Yeah. Anybody.
Yeah. Just wanted to...
I had a 17-year-old kid hit me up the other day.
That's awesome.
Hey, can I enter? I'm like, of course you can enter.
Yeah.
Like, if you can download the software, as long as your mom will let you download it, you're in, man. So.
Was he from KCAP? Was it the Fro?
No, I'm just kidding. No idea, man. No idea. I just know, the only reason I know is because he said I'm 17 years old, and I'm like, or maybe it was 16, but he told me his age.
That's awesome.
He was under 18, and I guess he was thinking, okay, because fireworks, 18 years old.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, no legal age for design.
Correct.
So you might be the first guy that gets in it and can't walk in the field.
Well,
without somebody, but yeah.
And then I know we touched a little bit on it already, but what brands of fireworks are going to be used for this year's competition?
So shell-wise, the bulk of the shells are from Raccoon, Wizard, and Night Owl.
Yep, wonderful.
There are three main. I mean, there's some sprinkled stuff. There's still a few Dominator items in there from stock that I've purchased or whatever, and we still have some.
Yeah.
Cakes are same manufacturers, single shots. Now there is quite a few Spirit. Spirit helps us out with cakes and single shots and stuff from their Pro line also.
Yeah.
But mostly Raccoon, Night Owl, Wizard, and Spirit of 76.
That's wonderful.
That's our four main suppliers that are in the catalog. So
awesome.
Like I said, a few things sprinkled here and there from, inventory that we've had.
Yeah,
so,
most definitely.
I hope one day, I'm working on it, but one day we'll have some European product actually in the competition.
That would be awesome.
There's been some behind-the-scenes communications.
That's great.
Not enough to get it here this year, but I do think 2026 we'll have at least 2 European manufacturers.
That's wonderful.
Will not a ton of product, but they're going to work it out where I can get some product from them, as a partial container.
Yeah.
I can't afford $500,000 for container fireworks yet. That's just not quite in the budget.
Yeah.
So.
This is the Pyro Unleashed Cake Review, brought to you by PGI.
that cake there available, David, in a retail store near you?
Not yet. I know it's going to be a
right.
topic of discussion for sure, though, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, if we get it there.
There might be preliminary works in the... I've just seen that cake today, so...
Yeah, first time I saw it.
Yeah.
So, cake review, sponsored by PGI.
Yeah.
Since its founding in 1969, the PGI has been dedicated to helping you do whatever you love and want to do in fireworks, legally and safely. Whether that is enjoying consumer fireworks with family and friends, becoming a fireworks display operator, learning how fireworks are made, photographing firework displays, collecting memorabilia, or all those things and everything in between, there are PGI members that share those same passions. This year, PGI is holding their annual convention in Boone, Iowa from August 2nd to the 9th. You get more information on that at pgi.org as well. So go there, sign up to be a member, and then you can, I'm sure they'll have convention tickets probably on sale a little bit later this spring, I would imagine. So
Yeah. For sure.
And then I think there was a art contest, David. You want to share about PGIs?
So it just started I guess when this releases, it'll be almost 2 weeks ago. It's a 2025 convention art contest. Attention PGI members, you have a unique opportunity to design the official convention artwork for the 2025 convention in Boone, Iowa. The theme of our convention this year is Fireflies in the Sky. The details are you have to be an active member of PGI. Use the theme to inspire your art. The concept art is due Monday, February 10th. So I didn't even think about that. That might be, well, you'll have about 5 days after this releases, so you'll want to jump on it pretty quick. There'll be 3 finalists that will be chosen. Completed art for the finalists will be due Monday, February 24th, and the winner will have their art rendered by an art media team from PGI and used for the convention. Please send all submissions to art.media@pgi.org. And then for all the official rules, they should be posting them on PGI's Facebook page. So
you only got a couple days to start working on it.
Only a couple days, yeah.
Yeah. So
Probably make some Facebook posts before then, but...
Maybe so.
Yeah, I told him we would get it out as soon as we could. So...
All right, and this week our cake review is going to be a cake by Nishi Pyro. So it's more of a pro line type of cake.
It is.
It's a 49-shot neon Fireflies. I will pop that up here for us here this time. Okay, and here we go. Okay. What are we thinking there?
There it is. It's I know we watched it a little earlier, but being able to see that lace like spin out, it's just such a unique effect. I don't think I've ever seen
combination that. It's like a little bee kind of firefly kind of effect. So it's really kind of cool.
Yeah, it is cool because it's not real. It's not like a flying fish really. But
right.
It's not quite lace, but it's not quite swimming.
It's very unique. I really like it.
It's cool. I'd be interested to see that one live.
Yeah. And the colors actually looked really good.
Oh yeah,
I mean
I like the colors.
The colors
that could
were
be
really nice.
Really nice piece. Nice piece.
Yeah. Out of 10, I'll give it.
Probably picked it up at any of the dealers who sell Nishi Pyro. Will probably will have that for you.
Should.
Yeah.
I borrowed that from Fireworks Forever, so I know that Marcus has it up there for you. So
nice.
It's in his inventory, I know for sure.
Yeah. Out of 10, I'm gonna give it a solid 8.5, probably almost 9.
Yeah, I think I'm up there somewhere about 8.5 or so. Yeah.
So. Yeah, I'm a little tougher. I'm gonna say 7.
7?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh man.
Hard one. Nothing wrong with that.
No,
only because somebody had to be different.
Nothing wrong with it. get back to this.
Yeah. So we kind of talked about the Pyro Jam a little bit.
Yeah.
What was the deadline again for people to enter?
March 1st.
March 1st.
Okay.
So we launched it January 6th, I think it was. So,
Yeah.
and submission's got to be in by March 1st. And before anybody asks, it's midnight, like somewhere in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So try to have it by your midnight and you'll be good. But for those that are like last minute scrambling, and there actually is a countdown on Finale's page that counts it down. So, and that time stamp is, like I said, it's the furthest you can go, and it still be midnight on March 1st. So,
and this is open to anybody in the world, no matter what country you're in, anywhere in the world, anybody can enter.
Yep. Yeah, I had a saying earlier, but they said it wasn't politically correct, so I won't repeat it. But yeah, anybody in the world. So, I didn't mean anything derogatory, but it was something about somebody in the desert in a hut and having an internet connection, and they were like, "Well, why has he got to be in the desert in a hut?" And I'm like, "I don't know, man. It just came out. It wasn't meant to be derogatory to anybody in the desert, or in a hut." So, but
all right. Well, what's in it if somebody wins? Top 3.
So there are cash prizes.
Okay.
I think, God, it's going to be horrible. I think it's 2,500, 1,500, and 1,000 or something like that.
I think so.
That sounds right. They also win Finale 3D points, even for entering. I don't really pay attention. I'm not going to lie. I don't pay attention to what the Finale 3D points are. So I don't know. I just don't know what they mean, but they do, and it's on the site. I'm sure it's cool.
Yeah.
And of course, then we shoot the show for you. So
wonderful.
We're toying with the idea of doing, not for prizes or anything, but doing some like honorable mentions this year, because the quality of shows is really that high that
there's some
it kind of sucks that we
ones.
only mention these top 3. I mean, like over the years. People are not, but we won't rank them if we do it. I'm not gonna split hairs and say, well, this guy was 9th and this guy was 10th just because the points were separated by 0.01 or something. Because once you start getting down there, really from like 5th to 20, man, it's really splitting hairs. I mean, even the top 3, to 5, it's just. I mean, it's literally pieces of points, that are separating, and we go back and we review them again, like those top shows, just to make sure, we didn't miss something, or I wasn't really tired. I was kind of tired that night when I judged it, and my score was a little off, from the others, and because that'll, I'm not going to say it does happen, but it could happen. I had a bad day. I'm really pissed off, and all of a sudden. Their theme doesn't resonate with me that night, or something, and I didn't quite score it right. So we go back and look through those top 10 or 12 and like, okay, hey, you two guys had this a little lower, like, or man, yours was really high. Can you take a look at this again? And no one really changes, by more than like a 1/10 of a point. Really, everybody usually comes back. So I think we're doing a pretty good job of being consistent. But it's interesting to look back and see, because we have a 5-judge panel and that scores the shows. And it is interesting when you look across, it's like, wow, he had this one in his top 4. Like, I had it in this. But then you look back and you realize that we're talking like 0.3 of a point.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Because when you just look at rankings, you start thinking, well, man, was that show really that much worse than that one? No, it wasn't. Yeah. It was that close, and it just, it's tough, man. I cringe every time each year, and I got to call these guys back and see if they are willing to do it again.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had some judges that couldn't just because their job this year, was
for sure
way busier or something, and he wouldn't be able to commit the time and didn't want to, because you don't want to rush through it, just to say, I did it, so, but yeah, it takes a lot of time, and like, we really get invested in it. There's a lot of conversations back and forth, and it's not easy, man. It's not an easy task to say, okay, it doesn't matter whether I like the music or not. I have to score this show, for what it is. And sometimes that's tough. That's why I said sometimes we go back and, hey, take a look at this one again.
For sure.
Because you can feel the music a little differently, from time to time, and depending on your day or what's going on that moment,
Well, I mean, even designing a show, I mean, 1 minute you might be feeling a certain way of scripting, and you come back. I mean, I think even Donnie, we were in scripting CobraCon show, and I think even just the other, what was it, last week? You text me and you're like, man, I'm really feeling this now. And I'm like, yeah, well, what was it different that like adjusted
right.
that? I mean, not a big deal. I just, bringing that up as an example, like it is even time to time, even scripting the show, it can be that same way. So for sure. Yeah. It's really cool.
Now, in your guys' scoring process, have you ever run into an issue where you've got maybe a tie between third and fourth?
Not a tie. But we did last year, actually. Third, fourth, and fifth were divided by 0.3 of a point between the three shows. Yeah. So for the next 48 hours, we made our case, and it ended up being the one that had the higher score was the one that went through. Oh, awesome. But we did make sure that, because we try to be unanimous as we can be. Yeah. We want to make sure that we're not missing something or seeing something that other people aren't, or we've never had to go, we screwed the pooch on this one. This guy's definitely not number 3. We've never had that. Yeah. So hopefully that continues, because I'd hate to be in that position. But yeah, no, we have had them where they were so close that we definitely, like I said, took a second and a third look just to make sure that we all agreed. Because like that show might not have been my third best show. It might have been my fifth. Yeah. But it might have been 3 other guys' third and another guy's fourth. And then the one that I had fifth was somebody else's sixth. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so that's, and that's why you have 5 judges, and that's why our 5 judges are from all walks of this. They're not all show designers. Yeah. One's a manufacturer, one's a builder, one guy is in the close prox world, so which is completely different than aerial, but he still knows how to score an aerial show. And then another guy isn't a show designer or even a shooter. Yeah. But he's been around the industry for 40 years, and he's still in the industry. He's just not that way. Yeah. And the reason we do it that way is because, we want that different perspective. We've got one judge that has never picked the top show. Like, not once has his top show been the top show. But it gave a different perspective across the scoring. You know what I mean? Yeah. And obviously he's picked, that top show was, in his top 3. It just wasn't it's never been his top one. And that's important because, number one, we've got a crowd that is, like I said, so diverse. And we need to entertain them at the same time as we're picking these winners. So by having, different, backgrounds on the judges, I think actually helps us too. Yeah. So we don't end up with 3 shows that look the same. Yeah. Yeah. So, which is what would happen if I was judging all of them by myself.
It is cool to see. Yeah. Again, like just like I've mentioned before, like, different judges are, like you said, they're going to judge differently. They're going to pick a different design style and everything. It is really good to see that.
like something that's super important to me is shell work.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, I love single shots obviously because I shoot as many single shots as anybody does. But you can do a billion great sequences, but if your shells don't work, man, that's a big factor to me.
Yeah.
I just little things like that.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Anyway.
When can tickets be bought to come?
Oh, right now.
Right now?
The
Very
early
good.
bird tickets. The early bird tickets are sold out.
Okay.
We're on our second tier of tickets now, and they're starting to pick back up. Had a little lull right there after Christmas because everybody was broke. I'm hoping now that we have a new administration in place and things are settling down from that, and people can start feeling better. And they can buy them. PyroJamUSA.com.
Okay. Very good. Perfect. And the event date is
August 23rd.
August 23rd. Yeah.
Yep.
Very good. I know I will be there. Donnie.
Nice.
I can't remember. Are you going to be there, Donnie? I think you're busy, right? Yeah.
I would like to go. We'll see.
Yeah. Just buy a ticket.
We'll see
out.
if we can make it out there this year. Yeah. We'll see if we can fly out there.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, come on out.
Yeah.
It's just right around the corner from you.
Yeah.
But no, I know I'll for sure be there. I've already got it in my calendar, in the work calendar.
Nice.
I think my wife is going to come out with me. I think we're going to.
Oh, cool.
I think we're going to fly this time instead of driving 13 hours.
Yeah, it's a hike. Oh yeah. I highly recommend flying.
So,
I will say flying to St. Louis last September was like, wow, this is really cool. This is how the rest of the world works. Because normally I drive 15 hours whenever I go to Skywars because I'm all in a box truck.
Yeah.
This flying thing I could get used to.
Yeah. Yep. So perfect. And I guess let's touch a little bit on what can be expected as a spectator the day of the event. Like once you walk through the gate at, give us the time of gates opening and then everything else.
Okay. Gates open 2:30. The event actually kind of kicks off at 3.
Okay.
We let people in a little bit so they can get mulling around, and some people want to get out there and claim their spot in the field. And,
for sure.
you're going to come into the gates. You're going to get checked in as fast as possible. All right, we've got that nailed down pretty good, I think. And you're going to see a crap load of really, really good food trucks on your left-hand side.
The smoked bacon was, that was so good.
Yeah, JD's House of Bacon.
Oh, my word. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Donnie, if you go, that's the spot.
Bacon.
It was so good.
Well, it's funny. We don't just take any food truck vendor that applies. If we've got a fried chicken vendor or whatever, a specialty chicken guy, there's not going to be another chicken guy. The only thing that's doubled up is pizza. We have one guy who serves a high-end pizza, and then we got like Pizza Hotline, which is lower end. And he's there for that family of 4 that the $160 they spent on the tickets is really all they could afford. Yeah. So they need to feed their kids for like $4. Yeah. And we have 2 hot dog vendors for the same reason. I catch a little flack from the vendors, the higher end vendors, about having the hot dog guys. I'm like, dude, your line was 45 minutes long all day. Yeah. Like you couldn't have served another, cousin's Maine lobster roll.
That's what I'm going for next year.
my wife actually had that this year.
Did she?
Yeah, she said it was phenomenal.
Good.
But yeah, we've got everything from Maryland crab stuff to it just barbecue and tacos, and I mean they're all, like I said, there's 18 savory trucks, and then there's 5 dessert trucks. Okay. And then, a couple drink trucks, and then, of course, the bars, you want to have a beer or something or a crush. And then there's kids zone. It's not just for little kids, too. I mean, we might have a jousting thing there. We've got a mechanical bull, and, stuff like that, so the big kids can play a little bit too.
Climbing wall too, wasn't there? I thought.
Yeah,
so.
it's definitely climbing walls.
Yeah.
Yep, climbing walls, big inflatable slides.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of yard games over there if they just want to chill, and the kid zones, it's in a spot where you can still hear the bands playing, but it's not playing right at you.
Correct.
So the kids can still play and have a good time, and the parents can still, if they got to get their kids' attention, they're not drowned out by by the bands.
Yep.
And then the band lineup this year is it's solid, man. This is
it?
the first. Yeah, now don't get me wrong, we don't have Shinedown coming or nothing. But this is actually the first time that I didn't have to go find bands. We had about 18 bands reach out to us to want to play.
Last year's closer was really, really good.
Last year's closer's coming back.
Oh, thank God.
We hit it off with the guys and girl from 1st to 11 are awesome.
And really, they're local. I didn't realize how close they were to even me.
They're in Erie, PA. It's It's a little bit of a hike, but it's definitely over here on this side. They are one of the best cover bands you're ever going to run across.
I would not disagree.
It's literally what they do for a living. They pump out a new cover every week on their YouTube channel.
Yeah.
They've got they're creeping up on 2 million, followers and stuff. They're high energy. They're fun. They're just really good people, and we hit it off with them. We stayed in touch, throughout the year after, the time afterwards, and so we're bringing them back. But then the other two artists are definitely a step up.
Good.
So the opening guy, the guy who's going to open, he's playing regionally some pretty good gigs.
Okay.
Young kid. He's real good. He's real good. So
good.
I'm stoked. And of course we're going to have a ton of pyro with 1st to 11 this year. We had a little pyro with them last year. It was the first time we did stage pyro at Pyro Jam.
Yeah.
Mostly because, we got a lot of other crap going on. But we did it for the first time this year, and Josh got to play around a little bit. Josh had never fired, to a live band. So a little learning curve there for him.
He looked like he was having a blast up there. I was watching.
He
him
did.
The whole time.
Oh yeah. No, he had a blast, and for literally, he didn't even practice. We just went out there and we had some scripted, sequences for him to fire on time, and so he was kind of ad-libbing a little there, and it was fun, and they loved it. I don't think they get to work with a lot of pyro, when they're on tours at these other venues and stuff. So they loved it and had a blast. So we're gonna load the stage up. It's gonna be
awesome.
It's gonna be pretty badass.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
really looking forward to that.
And as far as the shows, you're gonna get blown away, dude.
For sure.
You've been there. It's pyro orgasm joke.
Sure.
It wasn't a joke. It's
No, it was. As a pyro, I will say it was. Okay, so granted, almost every pyro event I go to, I feel like I'm probably doing a show, and I'm glad to be able to have gone to a show, an event, and be able to just sit back and relax,
and not do a show,
do a show, right? Yeah. So, and I know after talking to Mercy, I'm drawing a blank now. Well, anyhow, from Skywars.
Scott or
Rob
or one of those guys.
I was talking to Rob, and even he was like, it was so nice to be able to sit back, drink a beer, and enjoy the fireworks, and not have to worry about making sure everything's going off. And for you, I don't envy you for that, but being able to sit back, it was like, wow, this is like I'm having the time of my life. Just like enjoying it.
One of the coolest things anybody said to me, Peter Rogos, he came out. And it's funny, he came out to meet with the guys from Image Engineering, which is a really large entertainment company out of Baltimore. They do a lot of the NFL, MLB games and stuff like that, pyro for them, and a lot of stage work and stuff. So they happened to be meeting that morning, and one of the guys was like, "Man, I wish we should go down and go to that Pyro Jam thing." And Peter's like, "Well, I actually know the guy that's running that." And he's like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, we can get you out in the field and stuff like that." So he came on down.
That's cool.
Well, anyway, he watched most of it up there by the shooter's table with us. Their guys hung out with us and all. Really cool group of guys from Image, which I've known a couple of them for years. Well, to beat the traffic out, they went to the back of the line, the back of the field when for the closing show.
Yeah.
And that way they could just haul ass because they had to go back to Baltimore that night and get the guys from Image back. And he called me the next day. He's like, man, he says, I got to tell you something. It's unbelievable how big that show is in that field. Mm-hmm. And you don't realize it till you get to the back of the field and take it all in, like just how big this show is. As far as the envelope that we're covering in the sky. Yeah. You know how it is when you're up closer.
Sure.
You don't see it, and you get back there, and it's like, holy smokes, this thing is huge.
Yeah.
So
most definitely.
I try to tell everybody we do 19 shows on the 4th of July, which takes pretty much all of our equipment. Pyro Jam pretty much takes all of our equipment, and we have to borrow another 200 modules from Ace to shoot it. So it's the event itself is as large as the 19 4th of July shows that we do every year.
Wow,
that's big.
That's huge.
So it's a lot of fun though. It's cool
for sure. How many shows should we expect for 2025 Pyro Jam?
Same number.
Same number.
We'll have national anthem. Although we've got a little twist.
I've heard rumors.
Patrick is not entering this year. He is going to actually design the national anthem show for us. And bring his little Disney-esque twist to it.
A twist. Nice. He was telling me about it, and I'm I was like, that is awesome.
He hasn't sold me 100% yet, but not because of the idea. I'll be honest. He sent it to me. It was right around Christmas when he sent me the idea, and I didn't have time. And then I got sick, and then New Year's happened, and I didn't have time, and then my grandson got sick. Yeah. So. But reading through it, I think it's a great concept. We just have to figure out how to make it work.
The execution is going to be, for the idea is going to be a struggle.
But it's not outside the realm of something that we can do. So we've done it in reverse, where we've gone from live to recorded, versus recorded to live. We're just reversing, reversing how we would do it. Yeah. But I think it's going to work, and I think it's going to be freaking awesome. Yeah. And then of course we'll have like a opener show, it will be designed by one of our guys.
Wonderful.
The 3 composition shows, and then the closing show if I can come up with something. So.
Sweet.
Figure something out sometime around July 14th.
You got time.
So it's all good. I work best when I got a crunch time. I don't do well without a deadline. Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna lie. To me, Pyro Jam's so far off in one sense that I have a hard time. Like last year, I tried to design the show in like January or February, and it's just nothing was working. But then when it was like, boss, you got to get this thing done. Like, then all of a sudden things just started working. I don't know. It's just me.
And I remember talking to you, and even you were saying, you just went back to your basics, and I will tell you,
went
just
back
sitting
to something
there
with meaning.
Yeah.
I mean,
I will tell you, I went back, and Ellery and myself and Miles were all sitting in the hotel room, and Ellery is sitting and uploading video, and I'm uploading video, and I look over at Ellery, and I was like, I literally looked at Ellery and said, that was the best damn show I've seen Tim do. I did, and he was like, yeah, I was, and it was just like, we both like recognized you just went back to your basics, and just brought that back, and it was a lot of fun to watch. And
it's a lot easier, and it doesn't matter what the theme is, as long as it means something to you.
Yeah.
I really struggle with just I'm gonna do something badass. You know, well, what's badass?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, what does that even mean? Because I catch myself all the time. I'm like, this year I'm going to do something badass. You know, I do this every year. Every time, CobraCon is going to be badass. Well, until I come back with some kind of, direction, badass doesn't mean nothing.
Yeah, for sure.
That's just words, man. There's no meaning there.
Have you started? Have you started CobraCon?
CobraCon? No.
No. Come
on. No,
I'm
so
scripted.
I'm not, no. No, I don't have anything. I'm struggling right now. I've got this wedding show in Alabama, February 15th. And I've spent like 2 weeks trying to put a soundtrack together because, she likes pop, he likes oldies, and but there's not been a whole lot of direction. So I've struggled getting that together. And I actually have a show this Saturday that I've done nothing with, but it's just a cake show for a little church show. And I need to, I hate this time of year, David. I'm not going to lie. This time of year is taxes and 1099s and insurance renewals, and there's so much of that crap going on.
All the money going out and none of the money coming in.
Yeah, and it's just hard. It's hard to get into a project, with all that crap because. You would think I'd have all kinds of time this time of year to, just be creative. But no, it's the kind of crap that you hate doing, so it takes you 3 times as long as it should, So, but no, it's going to be badass, though.
Most definitely. No, I look forward to it. And that's why, I know Donnie and I had both talked, and that we were both like, you know what, if we're getting, I guess I'll spill the beans. Like I probably had mentioned a little bit, but if we're doing a tower, it's like, we might as well have it both nights, and if you want to use it, then it's obviously
I appreciate
all yours
it.
to use, and we'll have it.
Well, same thing. If you need something from me that I've got, we're going to be bringing trucks out, so
for sure,
I'm sure we can find a room somewhere to throw something on there if you need it, some truss work or something.
Well,
like
now
that.
that you speak of it, no,
we've got a little bit of truss work.
Yeah.
But we have some devices we can put on top of that truss work, probably.
We do.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah, I wish my new racks would be done in time, but they won't be done in time. So
you won't spill the beans.
Well, the one thing I can talk about, we've got a rack design that's going to hook to the sides of the truss for us.
Okay.
And using basically there's hooks on the bottom of the rack. It'll hook to the back, swing around, and then clamp, with truss clamps on the front, so that we can stop zip tying crap to pegboards and all this other junk that we've been doing, and that'll be added to the Craigco lineup once we get them built. He should have it for PGI.
Good.
Well, he better, because I need it by PyroJam. So,
you gonna be a PGI, or you're just gonna be too stinking busy with PyroJam again? Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't know if I'll ever make PGI again.
Yeah.
I actually had one of the guys that's kind of in it was like, hey, can we get you to come out and do a show? And I'm like, as long as we're doing PyroJam, I don't know how I make that work.
Sweet.
It's 2 weeks. 2 weeks before. And unfortunately, PyroJam literally takes all my equipment. So
yeah.
I
it
wouldn't
does.
have any equipment to do PGI with, it's so it kind of sucks. Because I miss it. I haven't been to PGI in 4 years.
Wow.
Something like that. It's been a while. Probably 4 years.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. Well, 2019 when I did the closing show or whatever you call it, the 50th anniversary show.
Yeah.
That's probably the last time I've been, because 2020 didn't have it. So I haven't been since then.
Yeah.
Sucks, because I like a lot of folks there that I don't get to see now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Most definitely. Yeah.
This is Pyro News, brought to you by Dominator Fireworks.
For those of you wondering, yes, that is Morse code for Pyro Unleashed.
So like I mentioned, sponsored by Dominator Fireworks. Dominator brand fireworks is one of China's fastest growing fireworks brands. Dominator Fireworks covers all categories of fireworks, including consumer fireworks and professional display pyrotechnics. In addition to the Dominator brand name products, they produce many private label products for their customers. Dominator can custom manufacture or procure any product to your exact packaging and product specifications, or they can recommend products to suit your market needs. Dominator's pretty popular brand. I'm sure you have a lot of your wholesalers, retailers out there are probably carrying Dominator products. So again, check them out for the upcoming season.
Yeah, most definitely.
So this week, I figured we would hop into kind of a hot topic we kind of didn't hop into yet this year, and it kind of happened during the off season of us is the issue with the some of the drone shows.
Yeah.
We've seen out there some drones colliding and some other issues, and I think we were all kind of waiting, I think, for a report to come out to kind of what happened.
Yeah.
And doing some little research, I actually found a report that was a preliminary report released by the NTSB on actually what happened.
Okay.
And I figured I would kind of share that with you today. We can just kind of discuss a little bit.
Yeah.
This was the one that happened in Orlando, Florida, where the 7-year-old boy got injured.
Yeah.
The National Transportation Safety Board released a preliminary report detailing what caused dozens of 2-pound drones to fall from the sky during the event. Basically goes into the report states that 500 drones participated in the show, and 5 of them did not accept the coordinate data for launch. The operator Sky Elements performed a soft boot of the fleet before the show. All but 2 drones appeared to be functioning at the time, and so those drones were removed from the show. When the drones launched, they did not lift together or in uniform, leading to a loss of control and some drones colliding. The report also noted that operators decided to let the show continue rather than pause it, believing that it was safer for the audience and the drones to allow the performance to finish and land the fleet without further incident. The NTSB also found that the show's charted position was not properly aligned, causing the drones to get too close to the audience. So there really seems like a lot of different kind of things that happened there. So what really needs to happen is an investigation of the manufacturer itself and the software. Both these things need to happen for us to understand the cause of the crash.
Yeah.
They're encouraging the public to come forward with any additional information about the incident. Unfortunately, and ultimately, we will finish our investigation, and we will be in a much better position to know really what caused the injury to the little boy. The incident, FAA has imposed restrictions on Sky Elements. The company proposed some improvements to avoid incidents like moving forward, including requirements for early on-site preparation, an on-call system for chief pilots, and additional training to prevent similar incidents in the future.
Okay.
So I know that we've been actually having some conversations with Sky Elements because I don't know if we've talked about it a whole lot, but they're actually doing the drones at CobraCon for part of our show, and so we've had some conversation with them behind the scenes on whether that was going to be possible and continue. And so I know we got word from them this week that we're pushing forward that they had been working with
They're ready to go,
FFA to be able to get restrictions released so that they could actually implement safer practices going forward.
Yeah.
But just kind of something to kind of as we kind of go forward, I know that probably hurt them a lot with a lot of shows that canceled. And I think a lot of the drone industry, I think, took a big hit from this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to see any other issues. Maybe other municipalities maybe get a little scared by this. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can tell you a guy in the industry that's scared of it. So
yeah,
we were supposed. Well, we are. We're going to. We're partnering with someone.
Wonderful.
We're going to implement drones with fireworks a little bit on our first, foray this year.
Wonderful.
And then that happened, and I'm like, crap. Like, is this really something I want to do?
Yeah.
And I definitely, I'm not throwing any operator under the bus because I have no idea, man. I wasn't there. Yeah. I'm not seeing it.
Right.
And everything always looks different, depending on what optic you're viewing it from. So I know, I've been on shows where guys were like, man, did you think about stopping that? And I'm like, no, this was the reason, And I've been on shows where I thought, man, did you think about stopping that?
Yeah.
And unless you're the guy in the seat looking at all the info.
Correct.
It's,
Yeah.
Unfortunately somebody will get judged. That's how the world works.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be that guy.
Yeah.
But it did, it's made me pause a little bit and have some further conversations with the guys that I'm partnering with. Okay, so we're not going to get anywhere near anybody, right?
Yeah.
Like this is what we're going to do. We're not going to get crazy, and and it's not because I don't trust drones. It's just it's another element that I don't know enough about yet. That's why I'm partnering with somebody else who's been doing it. But yeah, no, it's but it's anything, man. The first time we use flame units, the first time, the first time you do something, there's always those little pucker moments where, and this is another one of those instances. I mean, it's unfortunate, and I definitely don't think any less of Sky Elements than I did 3 years ago when I first saw them. I mean, it's just something that sucks. And hopefully they can figure out exactly what went wrong and get it fixed. So
it definitely sounds like they're implementing some additional safety sniffle checks and stuff like that to help kind of prevent it. But
well, and you wonder,
and a lot of things about, especially when you're dealing like all of these new technologies, is you don't always know everything when you get into it, right? Like you don't know what you don't know, right? And so
right.
And then if this situation had never happened to them before, at that moment you're making that split decision on do we continue or do we stop? And
right.
And like that time they felt it was safer to proceed, and maybe in hindsight, maybe they think about it, maybe they feel like maybe they should have stopped. I don't know. Maybe that's a conversation. Maybe we try to reach out and get some clarity from them on that either way. But yeah, I mean it's just that split second decision on.
Oh yeah.
You got to make a decision either way. And, and you don't know at that moment which way is the right way, really, because it's never happened before.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And even adding pyro onto the drones, which I mean I know is hopefully something we're going to be doing even at CobraCon. It that adds a whole nother aspect of level of complexity as well.
Sure.
And I from my understanding at PGI, when Verge did theirs, they had those drones with the fireworks. They literally just went up, did the fireworks, and dropped back down.
Right.
And
get
that's just
there.
just to get them out of there. So yeah, I don't know. It's intriguing to see this unfold, and I'm a big supporter of incorporating different mediums and into a display or an event like this. So if I can add like the flames and the drones and pyro and hopefully eventually like lasers and this, that, and the other, and create a production, and not necessarily a pyromusical, but like production, and that's what I love, and I'm really excited to see the future of production grow in this industry.
So. Sure, agreed 100%.
Yeah, but.
So we did have one Discord question that came in. I have no idea what this is about, but we're going to ask anyway. This question came from Firecat8, Brandon Smith. He wants to know, will we ever see the wizard again?
Not that one, because I would definitely do it different. But it's funny because we talk about that thing all the time around here. How it could have been done different, how it could this and that. And it's one of those things where in the moment, it's probably one of the things that won us that contest or that competition. But in the grand scheme of things, it definitely wasn't as cool as I wanted it to be, given the restrictions of how we had to build it and stuff like that. And I don't have Ed Vassal to tear it apart and throw it away for me. That if we do it again, we'd actually have to tear it apart because he made the mistake of saying, "Oh man, just leave it there. We'll take care of it." So I cut the two boards and let it hit the ground, and he had a 16 by 26 foot piece of crap he had to pull apart, and he didn't bring any tools that next morning. So I'm sure he was regretting that decision. But now that it's funny he asked that question because. We keep doing these trusses and we keep doing this and we keep doing and building bigger and bigger and bigger. But yet we've kind of gotten away from those kinds of things that could be really cool. And we do need to get back to some of that once in a while.
I'm assuming this would have been a lance board.
No, it was again, we were only allowed to use 18 other ice items. Okay, so 18 lances ain't going to get you a very big picture. So what I did was I laid out in the warehouse where I was working. I was managing a warehouse, a third-party logistics warehouse at the time. And I remember my boss coming downstairs at, 7 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
And everybody's gone, and I've got sheets of plywood laid out across 2 sheets wide by, 7 sheets high, in the middle of the loading dock. And I've got a marker and I'm drawing something. And he's like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm drawing a wizard." And, it wasn't a perfect drawing by any sense, but I drew it out and I basically cut outlines of the wizard. And then we put it together, stood it up, and wrapped plastic around the back of it, black plastic, and it lit, a couple flame pots in the back to backlight it.
Oh, okay.
And that's how we made it. And it was cool. When we tested it, it was funny because we built it here and we stood it up and we lit the flame pots. And we didn't stake it up. I was just holding one of the boards to try to just balance it, just to see if it would work. And I had this flame pot, about 3 feet from me. And man, those things will choke the crap out of you if you're 3 feet away from it. And you're sitting, and I'm gagging, and I called one of the other guys over, and I walk away from it, and I'm like choking and stuff, and I look up, and I'm like, "Oh wow, this is actually working pretty good." And next thing I know, the guy's choking, gagging next to me again, and I'm like, "Dude, Brandon, I couldn't hold it no more." So we got this one little stick back there that's holding this whole thing up. And he decided he wasn't going to call for help. He had to get out of there. It was terrible. But yeah, that's how we made it.
That's cool.
And I still think the biggest impact was when we put it up, because we decided when we were going to get there a day early and build it and just let it stand there all for the next 3 days and give everybody the stink eye. And I think that was more impactful than what it was during the competition. I think the judges saw it, and everybody thought it was cool. And we shot some stuff. He had a wand sticking out. We basically mounted a rack at the end of his hand.
That's cool.
And he fired comets across the field to light some mines on the other side.
Oh, that's crazy.
It didn't work perfect, but I think it was just different enough. And like I said, everybody saw it standing up there for 2 days, and the anticipation of whether it was going to be cool, and it really wasn't that cool, to be honest with you. I mean, it was cool, but I wish it'd been better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to get back to a little more of that storytelling stuff, with props. Like I said, we're always looking for the new item, the cool thing, the next level. And sometimes we forget that those things were really cool, that we did.
Yeah.
Like
Just
the little
simple
E-match
stuff.
run,
Yeah.
and it's, what I mean? And it lended to that story a lot, because we started the story about the wizard and this and that, and then, 2/3 of the way of the show, we lit it.
Yeah.
So, everybody was anticipating. And then when we lit it, I didn't think it was all that cool, but everybody else thought it was really cool because they were waiting for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it looked cooler than it did to them just because of the anticipation of it. And then one guy was like, "I was kind of let down. I thought it was going to do something." And I'm like, "What'd you think it was going to do? It's a piece of plywood. You think we're going to start dragging it across the field or something? I don't know what you were expecting there, bud. But I thought it was, we were all right just putting it together because it was really light. I mean, it was flimsy as hell. I'm surprised it even stayed up. But, but yeah, so no, thanks for bringing back a memory there, Brandon.
That's cool. That's cool. I asked Brandon. We need a video of that. So I want to see a video of this thing.
There's one out there somewhere, but it's kind of from one side of the field, so you don't see it as well. Because again, this is a 2-dimensional, figure.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
All right. Should we get into the final 5?
Yeah. So all right. So here we have the Pyro Unleashed final 5 questions. So these are 5 questions. We're going to ask the same 5 to every guest all season. At the end of the season, we'll probably toss a little montage together, a little compilation of stuff. Kind of first thing that comes to mind when you kind of think of these. Most of these are Pyro related, so it should be fairly easy for you. So,
oh boy.
Question 1: favorite consumer cake?
Ooh, favorite consumer cake?
Yeah.
Oh. Everybody's gonna think I'm stupid. Wyndham makes a cake called Super Kung Fu. It's only available in their assorted container load blue.
Okay.
It's the best silver strobing willow out there, and I love silver strobing willows.
Yeah.
And 2-inch bore still, and still using a ball shell in it, and it's been out there for at least 15 years. And every year it's just that's the first one that comes to mind.
Yeah,
just because it works. It works everywhere, every year.
All right, question 2. If you had to choose only one for the rest of your pyro career, are you choosing 1.4 or 1.3 product?
Oh, 1.3.
Oh,
Really?
okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Really? Why is that?
I can get 1.3 comets and mines and cakes and slices. I'd have to store them and count their frickin' weight and all that shit, and I don't want to do it. But yeah, man, I've yet to see anything. There was a time I would have said 1.4, until I started buying high end, shells. That I mean, you're not going to get a 4-time color change, 8-inch shell and consumer. I mean, there's just so many effects that they're just beautiful, and the hang time and the size, and there was a time it would have been 1.4, but it's 1.3 now.
Okay.
Very good.
All right.
I just don't want to. Don't make me do it, because I don't want 1.3 comets and mines. I don't want. I don't want to deal with tracking every piece and the added weight. So. Anyway.
All right, question 3. If you could start your fireworks career all over again, anything you might do differently?
Ooh. Honestly, started earlier.
Yeah.
That's my only. I've been blessed with a very cool travel. I've had some incredible people help me along the way, some incredible opportunities. A lot of luck, some super people that work for me. I just wish I'd been in my 20s when I started instead of in my 40s, or late 30s before I lit anything. I feel like I missed 20 years of fun.
Yeah.
So.
All right, and so question 4, what's your favorite thing about working in this industry?
Taking people away from their crappy lives for 10 to 20 minutes at a time.
Yep.
That's still number
we
one.
had that sound bite from our last episode with you. We talked about that.
Yeah.
And,
Yep. Sorry. That's
No, that's what it's about.
That's always going to be the answer. You know, there's no other. Very few jobs like it. I won't say no other, but there's very few.
Yep.
All right, and 5th and final. If you were a flavor of ice cream, what flavor would you be?
Ooh. Vanilla. I'm pretty plain, guys. I go to work. I play with the kids. I love talking to people, but I'm not a very exciting guy. I'm pretty plain.
All right. Well, there you go.
All right.
Not too hard.
Yeah. No.
No, that
Good
was actually pretty cool too.
Yeah.
So that was
A little different.
It'll be cool at the end of the season. We get everybody together.
Compile
Kind
everything.
of see how everybody kind of answered and stuff.
Right.
But
their answers would be cooler than mine, I'm sure.
No, it's
back to
intriguing.
vanilla.
I don't know. The start earlier was the same answer that Ellery gave us last night. What gave us for the first episode was start earlier.
Yep.
Yeah. No,
I have a feeling we're going to see a trend on that one.
I
I
think
so.
you're going to see that from a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's just unless somebody was born into it, but
Yep. Well, any finale advice for those entering the Pyro Jam competition?
Any final advice?
Any final advice?
Yeah, take a day. If you've never used it, we'll give you 2 pieces of advice. If you've never used Finale, take a day and find any video that Drew put together on their YouTube page.
Yep.
And watch it.
Yep.
It's the fastest way to learn it. Don't sit there and try to click every button on the thing trying to figure out how to do things.
Yep.
There's, one day of watching his videos will give you a great understanding. He's very articulate. He covers things well. He speaks as a designer because he's not just a software guy. He is a show designer.
Yes, he is.
So when he speaks to you, he's speaking to you in your language. If you're not new to it and you're a serious competitor, bring your A game, man.
Yep.
Don't send a submission in next week.
Yeah.
Just tweak it and fine tune it, and because I can assure you, the other 20 top competitors are going to be doing that.
Yep. Hold it and wait until the last minute and then submit it.
Yeah,
just
go back and look at it. Sit a few days, check it again, and just find and don't send something and be short 2,000 on the budget. Don't send a show that you only spent $23 of the $25,000.
Chuck it in the finale.
You're probably not going to win.
Yeah.
These guys are using their money very, very, very well.
Yep.
So.
Yep. For sure. And then for sure, we wanted to plug PyroJamUSA.com. We will leave a link in the description for that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, again, Finale 3D for jump in there, download it, get a hold of Drew, watch some videos. So
yeah, on that Finale 3D website, there's a whole entire page on it. Like Tim mentioned, all the rules, everything is on there. I was looking a little bit ago. It's all the details nonstop on there on how to kind of enter and what to do and the rules and the prizes and all of the information.
Yeah.
So it's all there, very well detailed. So.
Yep. And on that note, episode 3.
Episode 3. Now, should have a Neil Butcher from Finale 3D in the Pyro world. So
nice.
That'll be fun.
It's going to be a really cool episode. Looking forward to sitting down and talking with him. And so.
Yeah. And I think his episode will trickle over from just his episode. So really looking forward to seeing how all that's going to play out. So, yeah. Anything else?
I got nothing, fellas.
All right.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we
appreciate it.
you coming on, spending your Wednesday evening, not outside in the freezing rain or snow. And
Yeah. Well, hopefully I wasn't too long-winded.
No,
I can tend to ramble, so
Nope, it's
I know.
been great.
It's good.
No.
Great stuff.
So, yep. Again, check out PyroUnleashedPodcast.com. That's our website. Grab some merch. Rock it at any of the events you're going to go to. PyroJam, PGI, CobraCon, Sky Wars, a number of them, right? So,
Yep.
We're going to have to start doing Pyro Unleashed dollars or something like that. So we can start getting some
dollars.
Yeah, there you
So we
go.
start seeing people wearing our clothing out there.
Yeah.
Right.
And then jump over in Discord if you haven't already. And we're always talking. I mean, we're recording and still chatting in Discord. So it's always a lot of fun to hang out with people of like minds and continue that pyro mindset throughout the year. Keep the creativity rolling.
Sure.
I mean, I know we're all thinking July 5th about the next July 4th show. So, yeah, I think that just helps out a little bit and keeping the juices flowing. So, yeah, with that.
And with that, I want to thank Tim for coming on and hanging out with us tonight.
Definitely.
Nice, good episode and some great content. And if you want to learn more about Tim, he was on with us last season.
Yeah, it was. So
feel free to go back to season 2. You get more information about who Tim is during that episode. We kind of glossed over that tonight because we had talked to Tim before, right? So
Sure.
if you want to know more about who Tim is and all that kind of stuff, you can go back and check out the episode in season 2. But we will see you all next week in season number 3. And in the meantime, go out there and unleash your inner pyro with us.
This has been another episode of Pyro Unleashed. Come back each week for more industry insights, technical tips, and awesome pyro designs. Have fun out there, be safe, and as always, remember to unleash your inner pyro with us.